from the Miami News from the year 1977. Remembering from Duckpins to Tenpin. When I first started bowling back in Danbury, Connecticut, duckpins was the game. Big pins were virtually unheard of, something we had seen only in Andy Varapapa or Pete Smith movie shorts. Duckpin leagues were the way to go. My humble beginning in bowling was brought back to me this past week when the National Duckpin Bowling Congress began to celebrate its 50th anniversary. While tenpin bowling has been in existence over 85 years, when I was growing up in Connecticut, the American Bowling Congress was a non-existent thing to me. As I recall, back then, leagues were not too popular with the younger set. Open bowling was a different thing. The place to take your date at night was the local duckpin establishment, where for some ridiculously low price you could throw the small 4.5-inch hard rubber ball down a regulation lane at 10 miniature stubby pieces of wood called ducks. Bowling duckpins was never the same challenge to me that I discovered years later when I was introduced and became addicted to the world of tenpins. I found the element of luck more prevalent in ducks than in its big brother counterpart, tenpins. Another reason why I never became an avid small pin shooter was because I was not too adept at the game. My top average in the game was 89, which by tenpin standards would probably be around 140. By way of comparison, a 200 game is rarely attained in duckpins. Note that back in 1941, the first woman bowler to ever bowl a 200 game in duckpins, Peggy Vreeland, shot a new world's record for women, a 201. In today's ladies' tenpin circles, this feat is accomplished many times each day without much fanfare. Duckpins developed parallel with tenpins through the years. Problems and achievements included survival during the war years when all tournaments were canceled, slow bowlers, lane conditions, automatic pin setters, and junior bowling programs were also affected. By the time I was 22 years old, I had divorced myself completely from the little flying ducks, devoting my time to the newest craze in town, big pins, which invaded Connecticut from New Jersey by way of New York. I must confess that I looked with disdain on anyone who refused to follow suit and give up that child's game. Big pin leagues were formed and duckpin programs vanished from my attention. I left their play to the volunteer fireman groups, the teacher leagues, and the postal worker leagues. Occasionally I would read about new records being set, but was unimpressed by someone shooting a 500 set in ducks. When I came to Florida, tenpins were still my prime interest. As the years moved along, my attention was still vested in tenpins. However, nostalgia kept ducks moving around inside of me. I wondered what a bowler who has shot tenpins most of his life could do now with a game of duckpins. Would some enterprising proprietor build a duckpin house in Miami? If he did, he might be in for a pleasant surprise.